Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we plunge into your sources to surface the most compelling insights. Today, our mission is to explore Laura Vanderkam's really game-changing book, 168 Hours. You have more time than you think.
Yeah, it's a great one.
At its heart, the book presents a profoundly simple, yet often overlooked truth. Every single one of us, regardless of our responsibilities or perceived busyness, gets precisely 168 hours in a week. No more, no less.
Right.
And Vanderkam makes a powerful case that our collective lament about a constant time crunch is largely, well, a myth. We actually have far more discretionary time than we ever realize.
It's quite striking how she just takes on our deeply held assumptions about balancing work, family, personal stuff, all of it. And she backs it up with these incredible real-life stories showing how people build incredibly rich, full lives, often achieving things that seem utterly impossible to those of us who feel too busy.
Exactly. So, our goal for this deep dive is to truly unpack this revelation, trace where your time actually goes, and discover how to intentionally shape your own 168 hours, to align them with what truly matters most to you. Okay, let's get started.
Right.
You hear it all the time, right? I just don't have enough time. But the book argues this pervasive feeling is often disconnected from reality. It starts with the simple math.
Yeah, the basic math. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Boom, 168 hours. It's fixed.
For everyone.
And when you zoom out, you realize many of our intuitive beliefs about time are they're plain wrong. Like, take Teresa Daytner. She's a fascinating figure in the book.
Yeah, her story is amazing.
Right. She runs a 7-figure construction company. She's a mom to 6 kids, including twins. And yet she carves out time for weekday hikes, reads Jodi Picoult novels, gets massages, plans elaborate surprise parties.
It sounds like fiction. And didn't President Obama ask her about sleep?
He did. He famously asked, "When do you sleep?" And her answer, "At least 7 hours a night."
Wow. That's truly eye-opening. And it's backed up by data, too, isn't it?
Exactly. Time diary studies show Americans generally sleep around 8 hours a night, even, full-time working parents with young kids.
And get this. The average person watches over 20 hours of television a week.
20 hours.
That's literally like a part-time job that most people don't even log on their resume.
It really puts things in perspective. So the natural question becomes, if we do have all these hours, why does it feel like so many are constantly running on empty?
Right. Where's the disconnect?
Vanderkam dives into that. She introduces us to Michael Szydlowski, a Google engineer. Okay, so he's working 40 hours, teaching grad classes, and training for an Ironman triathlon.
Which is insane.
Yeah.
A 2.4-mile swim, a 112-mile bike, 26.2-mile run.
Totally insane. And yet he still found he had 28.5 hours of free time a week. His own words were he felt pretty free and always felt like I'm having a pretty good day.
That's quite a contrast to the time crunch narrative we always hear. So if we accept this powerful idea that we do have more time than we realize, how does Vanderkam suggest we actually start harnessing it? Does she give us a practical method?
She absolutely does. And it's a fascinating concept she borrows from the business world. Core competencies.
Okay, core competencies, like for a company.
Exactly, but applied to individuals. These are the things you do best, the abilities others cannot replicate nearly as well, and skills that can be leveraged across multiple facets of your life. Like, the book shares the incredible story of Roald Hoffmann, a Nobel Prize-winning chemist. He also became a respected poet, not despite his science, but by leveraging his core ability as a keen observer in both fields.
Interesting. So it's about identifying your unique strengths.
Precisely. And the first step the book suggests for understanding your own 168 hours is to really look at how you spend them. It advocates keeping a time log, kind of like the American Time Use Survey.
You mean actually writing down everything you do?
Yep. You literally categorize your activities to see where your time actually goes rather than just where you think it goes. This clarity helps you identify what activities truly align with your core competencies.
And what you might just ditch, basically.
Yeah.
Outsource or ignore.
Exactly. Outsource, ignore, or minimize. That's the framework.
Okay. So once you have that clarity, the deep dive shifts its focus to work, which for many consumes the largest chunk of those 168 hours.
Right.
And the book makes a compelling argument that being in the right job isn't just about career satisfaction. It's fundamental for overall happiness and effective time management.
Yeah, it's not necessarily about working less, but about finding a role you genuinely love, because that joy actually fuels the rest of your life.
That makes sense. Like, it gives you energy instead of draining it.
Precisely. And to expand on that, research increasingly shows that happiness isn't just a result of career success. It's often a precursor to it. Think about Sylvia Earle, the marine biologist. At 62, still exploring oceans, over 7,000 underwater hours logged.
Wow.
She even recalled her kids making slides from seaweed specimens because her work just infused her entire family life with that passion. The book points out that unhappy people, by contrast, tend to watch 20% more television, almost like seeking an escape.
That's a powerful distinction. And then the book makes a really interesting point. You often have to design your dream job. You can't just wait for it.
Yeah, you can't expect it to be listed somewhere. Consider Lise Men, a linguist and a mother of young kids. She turned the supposed impediment of childcare into a research opportunity.
How so?
She observed her own son's language development, wrote a published paper that actually challenged existing theories, because, as she realized, non-parents hadn't really listened to kids a lot when they were babies. She had a unique vantage point.
So she found an advantage in her specific situation.
Exactly. It really prompts us to think, how can you, like Craig Dersler, that paleontology professor, how can you finance your own dinosaur research by inviting lay people to pay to dig alongside him?
That's clever.
It's about creatively aligning what you love with what truly adds value, finding those intersections.
This leads to one of Vanderkam's most radical propositions.
Yeah.
A new definition of work itself.
Oh, yeah. This one's big.
She argues it's only those activities that are actively advancing you toward the professional life you genuinely desire. Anything else?
Is just wasted time. That's her assertion.
It's pretty stark.
It is. But what truly stands out here is the example of John Anner, who led the East Meets West Foundation. He drastically cut meeting times for his staff. Why? He recognized that time spent on unnecessary debates was, quote, time not spent putting CPAP machines in hospitals to save sick babies.
Wow. That really frames it.
Doesn't it? Their daily goal was about saving lives, not endless meetings. It transformed their productivity.
That's a profound shift in perspective from just being busy to truly having impact. The author even shares a personal story about a nap, right?
Yeah. A 90-minute nap led to significant progress on her top priority project for the year. Or think about Carol Fassbinder-Orth, the biology professor and mom of two. She focuses relentlessly on the metrics that truly matter for tenure publications, grants.
And ignores the rest.
And consciously ignores the academic politics that consume so much of other people's time.
Okay, so for you listening, what's the actionable takeaway here?
The book suggests that powerful three-part strategy for reclaiming your time. Ignore it, minimize it, or outsource it.
Right. Ignore, minimize, outsource.
Ignore means simply declining non-essential projects. Politely, of course. Minimize involves setting strict limits on work hours, blocking off strategic thinking time, maybe batching emails and calls.
Okay. And outsource.
That's delegating tasks to free up your own bandwidth for those core competency activities.
Got it. Now, career breakthroughs. They often feel like luck, don't they? A sudden light bulb moment. But the book meticulously breaks down their anatomy. Says they're rarely random.
Not at all random. The story of Leah Ingram illustrates this perfectly. She decided she wanted to become a frugality expert. Okay.
Right.
So for 2 years, she diligently blogged almost daily about low-budget living, even though it was completely uncompensated time, just building her platform.
2 years is a long time.
It is. But then, when a Businessweek reporter put out a query looking for frugal people, guess who had a robust track record, a blog full of content and a compelling story?
Leah Ingram.
Exactly. It wasn't luck. That consistent effort led directly to a feature and a book deal. It was meticulous planning and persistent effort paying off.
So the book outlines steps for this kind of breakthrough.
Yeah, key steps. Clearly define what that next level looks like for you.
Right.
Understand the metrics and the gatekeepers like Fassbinder-Orth did with tenure. Work to the point of diminishing returns. For most people, that's 30 to 60 productive hours, not an exhaustive 80.
Okay, that's interesting. Not just more hours equals more success.
Right. And crucially, learn to spin a good story about yourself. Be open to unexpected possibilities like those bartenders, Leanne Shear and Tracy Toomey.
The ones who landed a book deal from bar chats.
Yeah. They use conversations with patrons. And finally, be ready to ride the wave when opportunity comes.
And here's a counterintuitive thought you mentioned. Can working more actually help your personal life? How does that work?
Well, the book suggests that consistently working, say, 30 to 60 focused hours a week provides enough forward momentum in your career that it can actually free up your mental space and resources. It stops the constant worry about falling behind, which then paves the way for a more fulfilling personal life. Less stress bleeding over.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, let's turn to home life. This is where the book unveils another really fascinating insight. It challenges that common belief that careers and children are just in constant competition for time.
Yeah, stepping back, this reveals a surprising truth from time diary studies. Modern parents actually spend more time actively interacting with their children than parents did back in, say, 1965.
More time, even with more women working. That seems counterintuitive.
It does. So how is this possible?
The answer, according to the book, lies in the dramatic decline of traditional housework standards. It paints this vivid picture of Mrs. Meyer, yes, that Mrs. Meyer of the cleaning products,
Right.
a 1960s homemaker with 9 kids who would apparently iron electric blankets and meticulously cut raisins with kitchen shears.
I can't even imagine.
Me neither. In 1965, married mothers spent 34.5 hours a week on housework. Today,
It's plummeted down to like 14, 17 hours.
we simply don't do many of the things women did 40 years ago, and, we're not succumbing to typhoid.
We're doing okay. So the shift is clear. Parents, much like smart companies, are focusing on their core competencies at home. They're prioritizing meaningful time with children, like James Anderson's family book groups, or taking his son to Normandy.
Or Kevin Peter training for an Ironman with his son biking alongside him. Those examples are great.
Exactly. It's about prioritizing that kind of engagement over maintaining an obsessively pristine home.
Okay, so building on that idea of core competencies, the book extends the ignore, minimize, outsource principle directly to home life.
Yep, to the home front.
The core argument is simple. Every minute spent on household chores has an opportunity cost. What else could you be doing?
A striking example here is Sid Savara, single software developer. He was spending a staggering 15 hours a week just on food-related tasks, shopping, cooking, cleaning up, and he hated it.
15 hours. That's huge.
Right, so what did he do? He hired a personal chef for $60 a week plus groceries.
$60. That sounds pretty reasonable.
It was. And he saved so much time and money avoiding takeout that it literally bought back his weekends. He even outsourced his laundry. The truth, the book argues, is that people aren't paying for a spotless house. They're paying for their weekend back. They're buying time.
Buying back time. I like that. So the book outlines various outsourcing options for home stuff.
Definitely. Personal chefs, meal delivery services, strategically using online grocery shopping for staples and pre-prepared foods, all of which can save hours on shopping and cooking. It also points out that while some chores, like maybe gardening, are enjoyed as leisure,
Sure, some people love that.
but if they're a burden for you, you absolutely have the option to outsource them. No guilt necessary.
Okay, what about minimizing? How do you minimize chores?
This brings us to a crucial question. How can you minimize daily maintenance? An uncluttered house, for instance, often looks clean with far less effort. Less stuff equals less cleaning.
Makes sense.
The book recommends strategies like the 27 fling boogie from flylady.net, just grabbing a bag and throwing out 27 things in 15 minutes. Quick decluttering bursts.
The 27 fling boogie, I like that.
Or, for a bigger impact, maybe hiring a professional organizer for a one-time reset. And for those little things that kill you, scheduling appointments, running random errands concierge services are an increasingly popular and effective solution.
Okay, so we've covered work, home life. Beyond those realms, the final piece of the 168-hour puzzle is carving out dedicated time for yourself. For meaningful leisure, rather than just falling into what the book calls unfamiliar idleness, like zoning out in front of the TV for hours.
Exactly, avoiding the default. This is where Alexi Panos comes in. She's a successful model and TV co-host, but her other full-time project is running EPIC, a nonprofit that builds wells in Tanzania.
Wow. How does she fit that in?
She quite literally carved out an hour every single morning to work on it before her phone even started ringing with modeling gigs, made it non-negotiable. And she spends her vacations living in Tanzanian slums, completely immersed in her passion.
That's dedication. It really makes you think again about those 20, 30 hours of TV Americans watch weekly.
Right. That's enough time to train for an Ironman. Or build wells, apparently. TV is undeniably easy and accessible, but it often wins out over activities that bring far more joy and long-term fulfillment, like reading, socializing, exercise.
Things that actually recharge you.
Exactly. So for you, the listener, what's the actionable takeaway here? The book strongly suggests prioritizing at least 2.5 to 5 hours of exercise a week. Choose something you genuinely enjoy, like running, which the author herself picked up in her 30s.
So find something you like so you'll stick with it.
Precisely. Moreover, waking up earlier for me time, whether it's exercise, reading, dedicating time to a passion project, can be significantly more restorative than simply staying up late to watch TV.
Trading low-quality evening time for high-quality morning time.
You got it. And don't forget to plan your leisure time, too. It shouldn't just be leftover time. The book recommends holding family conferences, even if it's just you and a partner or a friend, to discuss what everyone enjoyed last weekend and what they want to do next weekend. Be intentional.
I like that. And what about friendships? They often fall by the wayside when people get busy.
Crucial point. Friendships are vital for health and coping. The book suggests alignment, basically, combining activities, so scheduling play dates with parents whose friendship you also value, or having phone calls with friends while you do dishes or fold laundry.
Multitasking relationship.
Kind of. It's about being intentional and efficient with connection.
Okay, so ultimately, making the most of your 168 hours isn't a one-time fix. It's an ongoing process, right? Evaluating and adjusting.
Absolutely. It's continuous. The book powerfully illustrates this adaptability through time makeovers of real people.
Yeah, those were really helpful, like Catherine Murphy, the first-year law associate and mom of two.
Right. She felt frantic, struggling to find quality time with her daughter during the week. The suggestions were practical. Carving out early morning mommy and me time, getting up at 6:15 a.m. to play for 2 hours before work.
Wow, that's early, but dedicated time.
Dedicated time, and aiming for simple home-cooked meals a few nights a week, like basic pasta with sauce. She did it, even cooked with her daughter, and found herself less frantic.
And Brian Brandt, the executive pastor.
Yeah, father of 3, demanding job, side business, felt he had no time for prayer or his wife. He creatively started praying in the shower, calling his wife during short commutes, setting hard ending times for meetings.
Finding pockets of time.
Finding pockets, and reading instead of watching TV at night. He reported a good report, feeling less frantic, more focused.
And finally, Andrew Riley, the single dad running a web company.
Right, struggled with constant interruptions, feeling ineffective with 3 boys around. The solution: creating concentrated blocks for work during school hours, and then dedicated kid time by completely shutting down his computer after school.
Clear boundaries.
Totally clear boundaries. He found both he and his kids were happier. It shows how structure can actually increase freedom and connection.
These varied examples clearly show that the book's principles are incredibly adaptable. It's not a rigid system. It's fundamentally about being intentional with your 168 hours, proactively blocking out time for your core competencies, whether that's work, sleep, family, personal stuff.
Right, whatever matters most to you. And maintaining a crucial degree of flexibility. Life happens.
So that concludes our deep dive into 168 hours. You have more time than you think. I think the biggest takeaway is truly that paradigm shift. Time isn't just something that happens to you. It's something you actively choose to spend.
Yeah. When we connect this to the broader picture, the book urges us to critically question those societal norms about busyness, to track our time honestly, without judgment, and to relentlessly prioritize the activities that bring us the most satisfaction and align with our deepest values.
Which leads us to the crucial question for you, our listener. What will you choose to do with your 168 hours this week? How will you intentionally fill them with what truly deserves to be there?
Because the ultimate goal isn't just to be perpetually busier, is it? It's to strategically build a life where you really can have it all, whatever it all means to you, on your own terms.
With a sense of calm control, maybe.
Hopefully.
Join us next time for another deep dive into your most pressing questions.